Hello, here is our class CSCI 380, our web programming and interface design. And for our week two first lab, we're going to install all the necessary software we're going to use. Okay, but mainly we focus on the one we're using is the Node.js. So everything we rely on is Node.js. And of course, we're going to create the React with to create a project. And also later we need to using the MongoDB. So tell you how can we install it. And let me just quickly go through all the slides. So we can go like first one when we install the Node.js. Okay, so you can just Google it, search it. So you go to the page. Okay, Node.js and download. So based on which platform are you using? If you're using Mac, then they will by auto detection and show you okay, it's Mac OS or Windows. Of course, later when you need to work on a server. Okay, like for your project, you need to work on server. Then also you need to install it. Okay, but you can follow the guideline. Okay, but because for Linux and Mac, it's pretty similar. So we'll be saying except that like Windows, it looks slightly different. Okay, and maybe if you look at example, right here, the example mine are using 23 version, but you can use the latest one, the current 24.7. Okay, so if you remember, I talked about like NVM. Actually, right now Node.js also integrate with the NVM Node Version Manager. Okay, and so once you like create and then add to the batch, and when you start to add it, you can use the NVM to install it. So this one, if you follow, if you like copy it, okay, copy it and then paste it, then your system like automatically will complete all the steps. Okay, and the last two, 11 and 14, is that checking if you finish all the installation. So right here, if you check my Node version, it's like 23.8, and then my npm is Node package managers right here. So it's like 10.9.2. Okay, so the version sometimes looks different. Okay, you see the version. So for you, you can install it. Like if I want to install it, also I can install like npm install. Okay, maybe I want to install the latest one, 24.0 like this. Okay. So also I can install it. Okay. So that's how it looks like. Okay. And then I can use it. And let me show you the Node version. Okay. So right now I'm using Node version is like 24.7, and also my npm version would be 11.5.1. Okay. So pretty easy, straightforward. Okay. So hopefully everyone can follow this part. And after you're able to install it, and the next step right here, we're going to do is like using the right here actually there's a git like showing the nvm is another version, but you can stay on the Node.js official website and download it by this way. It's enough. Okay, and sometimes when you install it on the server, when you install it, maybe it comes with the Node only. Okay, so also you need to install the npm. So you follow the guideline. So later, if you have the problem, you can try to fix it, or later, or we can meet in the lab, and then I will help you to solve this part. So probably you should able to get the Node and check the version and the npm. Okay. Because once you're able to get it, then we can create our first V8 project. I will keep it as the last part. Okay. First, I like to go through like all other necessary um other and then one would be the MongoDB. So right here, if you look at the command line, okay, the which right here, so we add like start from scratch. Okay. So that's the command we start the our React project. Okay, but I'll keep this one as the last part. Okay, and I will introduce another one. So will be our MongoDB. Okay, so we need to go to MongoDB. So mainly we will check the community version. Okay, and there's a two part. One is the community version. There, everything rely on the command line. Okay, and you can install it and then start with the Mongoose shell right here to connect to the MongoDB and then manage all the documents. Okay. If you of course later on the server side, you need to work on the like command line. But if you are doing test it locally, okay, I will recommend one thing. It's called the MongoDB compress. Okay, compress download. So that one will be come with the GUI. Okay, the compress download. So this one you can choose the stable version, and then you can choose which OS. Okay, let's say mine is using M4, so it's an ARM64. Okay, if you're using Windows, okay, so we can choose for your own, and then you can download it and install it. So after you install it, you will see the GUI will be like this. Okay, so it's a MongoDB Compass. Okay, so from the Compass, so you will connect to your local host. Okay, of course you need to install it. Okay, I just like quickly jump over it. So if some student taking the database, also I'm telling you, okay, if you are using the workbench, also you need to install your MySQL server. So I would like to let you to try. Okay, one thing is like we need to install the MongoDB. Okay, so right here, like how can we install it? Okay, we can follow the MongoDB download center. We can download the installer. Okay, so maybe I click on here and then community server. Okay, so we can install it. Okay, so it's a pretty straightforward, or you can use the command line, download it. Okay, so compress will be the GI controller. And right here, I just create, so you can use the +sign and then create a database and then collection. So collection will be the name. So let's say I call it the Virtual Lab. Okay, so you need to complete this step, and then it's good enough. I will post our first assignment. So the first part, you need to give me the screenshot, like you able to install all these. Okay, so the screenshot of MongoDB. Okay, so you can screenshot the page. So you can tell me, okay, you are able to connect to your local host, and then able to create a database and then the collection. And for the Node.js, actually you give me the screenshot, like give me the Node version, npm version that I know, okay, you install Node.js successfully. Okay. And then the last part of your assignment, actually you need to create your first page. Okay. But before that, I will tell you there will be two extra things. One is the Git, and then one's the GitHub. Okay, so as a software engineer, or if you are a CS student, I recommend you like you create your own GitHub. Okay, so you can create an account, and Git is the command line. So you can use I just let you to use the really basic, like maybe like git clone, okay, git push, git add, okay. To edit. Later when you have a project working together, so you can use Git, okay, to create a Git repo, and then after you complete it, also you can use it like to directly deploy to your server. Okay, so it's really useful. Another one is called a Postman, so you can test your API. Later we will using the Node.js and with Happy.js to build the API server, but later, okay. And when you need to test it, you can use the Postman or using the curl to test your API. Okay. For this one, we will keep it later. Okay, we're going to cover. I try to cover all the necessary tools or something like applications you're going to use, which will be enough for you to start your project. Then after the kind of like half of your semester, I will like go back and then go through like all the details more. Okay, so because I want to let you to prepare for project, start your project earlier. Okay, so here will be like kind of everything you need to install. Okay, if you say, okay, I have more stuff I want to install, feel free to install. Here's the basic. Okay, so just like go back right here. So you will see when we need to start the Vue project. Okay, so we can use the npm. Okay, npm create. Okay, so create and then read latest. Okay, I give it a name. So right here, my app, or I call it Virtual Lab. Okay, and then there's a template we'll be using React. Okay, right here. And I already changed my directory, so I'm under my directory. So I just want to do a demonstration in the lab. So right now it's empty, okay. And then if you see, I try to execute it, okay. So it tried to create, okay. So it's a first step. I need to change the directory. Okay, let me change it to the V2 lab. So after I execute the npm, so you will create in the beginning. It should be empty. Right now we have a folder V2 lab, and then with some like files, and of course we'll go through all the details. And next part we need to install the necessary package. So we use the npm install. Okay. So it will help us to grab all the necessary, okay, the package, okay, for building. And last part, npm run f. So will be the for the development. Okay, later we will build for production, but in this moment it's okay. And how can we access it? So if you can open the browser, or right here I will carry localhost. So it's running under the port 5173. Okay, so you can open it or you can type it on your browser, localhost 5173, you will see a page. Okay, so when you click on his account, okay, that means you start your Vue React project with Vite. We have a like first big step we move on, okay? And of course, later I will tell you some like structure about the Vite right here, and including like how can we generate all the HTML. We need have the node modules. Okay, so all this when we execute like npm install, actually we try to install all the node modules. And right here, how can we install it? We check the package file. Okay, so if we look at the package file, so it comes with some like development dependency, and also the dependency you see is a React and React DOM. Okay, so that's why when we execute npm install, so all this package will be installed. Okay, so you will find it from the node modules. Okay, and under here we have one called public. Okay, we have not yet built, so it's no public. Okay, but we mainly focus is the source. So everything we are working on will be under source right here, src. Okay, and in the beginning, of course, we are using the Visual Studio, so we're going to like open the folder, and I would like to show you one thing. So here our 380. Okay, so our lab. Okay, so let's open the lab folder. Okay, so I'll trust it. And mainly we'll look at the SRC. If you see all those like photos, image, you see the SVG right here, the VN. So all the resources we put it over under SS. Okay, or sometimes if you need to create a different page, and then or like subfolder, so we can put it under the source. Okay, and right here we have the app CSS. Okay, and define the CSS. Later we will learn about that. Okay, so we have lecture like cover slightly more detail. We cannot dive really deep, but I will give you some sample code, and then how can we touch the CSS. Okay, and here's the JSX. So compared to regular HTML, okay, so here we like VS more like module functions, components, everything built from components. So we have the function app, and then export default, they give the app name, they will match it. And then later we'll talk about some what's the stage. Okay, so we try to import the some logos, and then import the CSS right here. So the page, and then we have the button. Okay, on click. So once we click it, so set count will be like every count plus one, and then we show the count. Okay, it's a really general idea. Of course, later we will cover a little bit structure using the under W3 school. I'll tell you what's the tag. Okay, so what's the HTML structure. But when you look at but we are not really focused because the limited time of our course. Okay, so we cannot cover like each element. Okay, so when we build a website, so you will see. Okay, so the differences between the website. So right here, if we like inspect it, so here's is all the HTML content. Okay, so everything right here, but we are only when we building it, we just work on the function, the components apps. Okay, of course, later I'll give you some sample code. How can we import other page or other elements? Okay, other components. I put them together to build a page. Okay, and so coming, you will, after you finish this part, and your first assignment actually will be building your first page, your home page, okay, for yourself, introduce, okay. So you need to modify it, okay. I will give you some template. Also you can modify it, okay. So you will have for 2 weeks, but everything as a first step, you should able to install Node, and then MongoDB, we are not using it because we are not do not need to connect to the server. Okay, we don't have to access it. And also later we will using the API server. Okay, so we'll keep this part later after a few weeks later. Okay, but just like make sure you already install all this necessary software first, and then this part is how can we create our first page. Okay, and so far that's it for our lab, and I'm going to meet you in the class. Okay, so I'm helping you to set up. Okay, so student, you can come. Okay, so that's it for this lab. Thank you so much.